This massage chair is so nice. Oh wait, we're doing a video, aren't we? My bad. Well, recently I saw the Amazing Digital Circus. And I also saw He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. Well, I'm going to tell you what my thoughts were. My relationship to the Amazing Digital Circus has not been that deep. I heard about it online from time to time, wasn't sure what it was, didn't understand what the hype was all about. That was until I had a friend who was interested in going to see the Amazing Digital Circus finale. And I found out it was gonna be in theaters around the same time He-Man was gonna be in theaters, and it happened to coincide with my birthday. So I decided, hey, I'm gonna go see this with my friend, and we can also go see He-Man as well. And that seemed cool. So I decided to watch all the episodes up to episode 8. And I saw things within it that was interesting. A lot of the lore I thought was interesting, and I thought the characters were interesting. With digging up things of the show, trying to figure out who created it and what's the inspiration behind the show, finding out the show was inspired by I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream, a very nihilistic book about AI taking over and torturing humans. It's a very interesting story, even if I disagree with some of the messaging. The creator of the show, being a trans woman, I was cautious because I was like, oh, is this going to turn into a woke movie or woke show? And I would say the show's not really woke per se. Yes, it has some self-inserts, some things that would be relatable to someone who is trans. But the show is more about the story than actually anything dealing with the trans stuff. That kind of stuff kind of takes a back seat. Or if it's there, it's subtle and not in your face. And that made me appreciate the story a little bit more, because people say, well, if you're a Christian or you don't agree with someone's lifestyle and choices, that automatically means you're going to hate everything they produce or everything they come up with. And that's not true. I watch a lot of secular movies than I do Christian films. And it's not because I don't want Christian films. In fact, I want a lot of Christian films. I want a lot of Christian films to succeed. And I want a lot of Christian films to be excelling in all of the genres that exist. Horror, fantasy, action, comedy. I want Christians to excel in these areas. Problem is, Christian movies don't excel in those areas often. They're too afraid to excel in those areas. And the only times that Christians do excel in these areas, it's two properties that are very successful: Narnia and Lord of the Rings. And we can debate about Harry Potter because J.K. Rowling is Anglican. And, we can debate about that, whether it's technically a Christian movie or not. That can get debatable. and crazy, depending on who you're talking about, because some people are going to say, well, it has magic in it, and it's witchcraft, blah, 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 blah. And then you got people that are like, oh, but she's Anglican, so she's actually a Christian, and she's really trying to bring Christian stuff into it, and stuff like that. It gets complicated. And frankly, I don't care about any of this discourse around Harry Potter. But the problem with the whole Harry Potter debate with magic is that you would have to get rid of a lot of stuff we've consumed as Americans for a very long time. You'd have to cut out a lot of Disney movies or any movie that mentions any form of magic in it, and it just gets crazy. And I think there's a difference between fake magic and real magic. Real magic exists. And that's usually with the occult and digging into satanic stuff that is dangerous, and you shouldn't get involved in that kind of stuff. And I am totally against that stuff. But when it comes to fiction, that's a completely different area. And I have mentioned this in my Halloween video. I have mentioned things about my views on wokeness recently in a old re-uploaded video. And I do see the problems, and I do want things to be less woke. Do I think wokeness is gonna disappear and everything's just gonna be geared to the common person? I think it's gonna take time. And I think movies are going to be more about entertainment, and slowly it's going to go in that direction. We're also going to have some movies that aren't woke. And we're just going to have to discern what's woke and what's not. And I recommend not going on the internet and listening to a lot of the people online. I'm not saying everyone online is trying to be deceitful, but you gotta understand that the internet thrives on clickbait. They thrive on rage bait. They can get you mad, they can get you clicking on the internet. They're gonna find any way to do that. And it doesn't matter if it's left or right. Both sides are doing it. And that is why I'm done participating in the culture war when it comes to the online space. I'm going to fight when I go vote. But I don't care about the online space. You have the left, where there's some people that want to keep woke movies going, and there's some people on the left that hate woke movies and just want everything to be back to entertaining. Then you got the right, who wants everything to not be woke and back to entertainment. You got that side of the right. And then you got the right that wants to keep wokeness alive so they can keep rage baiting you. And keep getting you angry and focusing on being angry at movies being woke, and be angry and be on their side and get them clicks. And it's a game on both sides. And the more you realize this, the less you stop caring about it. That's why I've said in other videos, form your own opinion. Stop getting angry at every movie that comes out. Just go see the movie. Evaluate it for yourself. Use discernment. If it's woke, it's woke. If it's not, it's not. Just watch it. Find out for yourself. And also remember, Hollywood is not going to get rid of DEI overnight. There is some race swaps going to happen. There are some things that are just going to be what they are. Hopefully one day it will be corrected. It's not about the woke check a box DEI stuff and we have natural diversity and just movies get back to the way they were before all the wokeness stuff hyped up. And I remember one race swap in a movie that didn't bother me back in the early 2000s. Michael Clark Duncan played Kingpin in Daredevil. And maybe there was some backlash back then with that movie. I'm not really sure if there was or not, but I don't really care. He played a good Kingpin. And the movie was just fine. For me. I enjoyed it. I liked it. And I don't care. It's just, I think sometimes we get too heated, too nitpicky about stuff, especially with fan stuff. And that is why I'm going to transition to talking about He-Man now. But just know that the Amazing Digital Circus was fine for what it was. But He-Man, what about He-Man? Well, everyone was saying that He-Man was woke. And look, they race swapped Man of Arms. Well, I've already talked about the whole DI stuff and what I think about that. It's just going to be in movies. It's just going to be in movies until things get fixed, until things get back to normal, and we're just going to have to deal with it until it's gone. But what is the messaging of this movie? Very simple. The message of this movie is this. Power, when used correctly, is good. When used bad, it's bad. Masculinity is not all about strength. It's about having compassion, being empathetic when you need to be, and only using strength when you have to, when it's necessary. That is the message of the movie, boiled down very simply. It's fun. Yes, they change some things with the lore. I mean, if you watch the original He-Man show, He-Man is a secret. That's why he is Adam. Here, they change a little bit of that. Adam learning to be He-Man. And it's an origin story, pretty much. And I know a lot of people don't like origin stories. And I've just come to understand that this is just how we do trilogies, how we do stories. It just is what it is. Get over it. Deal with it. You got many of other things you can watch that are He-Man related. If you're so annoyed, so aggravated with them not meeting up to your expectations, go watch the old stuff. Stop complaining. Stop being a nitpicky. Stop being a child. That's what you're doing. You're being a child. Especially with Tom from Midnight's Edge acting like a toddler. The new He-Man movie isn't like the 2002 show. So what if it's not like the comic books? And it's not this gritty, dark take of He-Man, where it's just blood and gore and grittiness and raw manliness, buffness. Man, I'm man, I am man, oh yeah, man. Sorry, but that's not manly either. That's just boys trying to pretend to be men. Look, strength and muscles, great. It's cool to have them. Now you probably can't tell with my belly, but I may not have my abs, but I have muscles in my arms. Being a man is not all about strength. And I'm sick and tired of this being what people think being men is. Being a man is about being a freaking meathead. And just all brawn, no brains. It's the equivalent of saying all blondes are just dumb. You know, it's stupid characterizations of men. And I'm sick of it. I'm sick of people thinking that's all a man is. And I'm also tired of every movie being The Dark Knight. You see Broody the bunny here? He is mad. He is upset. And he's disappointed. Because all these movies are brooding. And he just wants to have fun. He just wants to enjoy a movie. And he wants to have hope. And yes, the bunny is actually called Broody. I thought it was funny too. My mom gave it to me for Easter, and it's my favorite bunny right now. I'm tired of movies lacking in hope. I'm tired of the desaturated coloring and just everything being blah and boring and just, I'm sick of it. I want to go back to color. I want to go back to fun. And one of the complaints that people had of He-Man is it's too jokey. It's too Marvel-like. They're joking too much, and they're mocking He-Man. They're making a mockery of his name. Look, I'm sorry. Gen Z doesn't know much about He-Man. They didn't grow up with it. And to be fair, neither did I. I'm a 90s baby. I didn't grow up with He-Man. I only know of He-Man from reruns from when I was a kid. It wasn't until recently, in my 30s, that I was able to watch the full show. And that's because it's now on DVD, and you can buy it, and you can watch it. You can also get She-Ra on DVD as well. And I was able to enjoy it for the first time. And I became a fan from that. Then I watched the 2002 show, and like that. And yes, I even watched the Netflix shows. And I say shows because it's not just the Kevin Smith one. You also have a 3D animated one that came out. And at first, I was listening to everybody online about the Kevin Smith He-Man show. I was getting all heated and angry, frustrated because it's woke and this and that. And you know what? Some people are going to disagree with me with this. But after watching it, it's not as woke as everybody made it out to be. Yes, they gave Teela a stupid haircut, and yeah, she's like an edgy teenager for a moment in the show, but then it corrects itself and gets back to being a good show. So what? And there's some race swaps of some characters. So what? I don't care anymore. I really don't. Is the show good, or is it not? Or is everybody just going to be nitpicky? Because fans have never been excited for anything. They always complain. And people are like, well, yes, they've been excited for. Yes, people who actually enjoy things. People who actually sit down and enjoy things, yes. And, you know, everybody has their opinions. Sure, you're allowed to like and dislike something. There's things I dislike. I've already brought up Star Wars in the sequel trilogy, but that doesn't mean I hate everything Star Wars. And I want to correct something I've said before in a video. I may have hinted that I didn't think the books and the games were Star Wars. I didn't actually mean it how it sounded. I was just trying to say, if you encompass all the things of Star Wars and call it Star Wars, including the Disney stuff and the games and the books, then it's Star Wars to you. That's what I meant. I meant your opinion is that. For me, I haven't read much of the books, so I can't really comment on them. But I have played some of the games, so I do actually think some of the games are Star Wars, so I just wanted to correct that. I didn't want it to come across like I just hate everything Star Wars. It's not exactly what I meant. But I like the Old Republic games. I like the Force Unleashed. You know, there's things I do like about games, and I will eventually get into the books as well. But this video is not about Star Wars. But I just wanted to correct that. There's times where I have opinions about stuff.
And it's fine to have your opinions. But it seems like there's some fans that are just never excited about anything. And they always want to nitpick. And everything has to be exactly how they want. And if it's never how they want, they're going to be up in arms. They're going to send death threats. And they're going to get angry. And they're going to throw a toddler fit. And it's just... Hollywood never makes perfect movies that align with everything that's in your head. They just never do. They did this before wokeness. And they do it now with wokeness. Just go and watch the movie and think for yourself. Stop listening to people online. Stop getting angry all the time. Stop listening to dumb articles all the time. Just watch it for yourself. And the whole Jared Leto hate is forced. It's stupid. It's been stupid since the Joker. Look, I didn't like Jared Leto's Joker either. But Jared Leto doesn't suck in everything he does. I'm sorry. Get mad at me for that. Whatever. He doesn't suck in everything. A lot of this anger towards him is forced. And look, sure, maybe he's done things behind the scenes. But I don't know what to believe nowadays. Because a lot of times accusations about people get thrown constantly with sometimes proof and sometimes not proof. People just want a reason to be angry nowadays, it seems. He-Man was a good movie. It was fun. Yes, it's rated PG-13. So it's going to have adult humor in it. Yes, they made some jokes at the He-Man names and the characters. Because they are silly names to begin with. We gotta be honest with themselves. He-Man, Ram-Man, Fisto. These names are just silly names. They are. They just are. The reason for the joke is that Adam was a 10-year-old kid when he came up with the names. Because that's how he described them when he was 10. Which makes perfect sense if you're a child. And I think that's one thing that people nowadays have forgotten. What it's like to be a kid again. What it's like to just enjoy things. And this is exactly why I've said the things I've said in my videos before. The point I've been making in those videos all along is stop living in extremes. We live in extremes too much. And we forget how to enjoy things. We forget what it's like to be a kid. What it's like to have fun. We're so busy fighting a culture war every second of our day that we forget to just enjoy life. Enjoy life. Enjoy it. That doesn't mean stop fighting when you need to fight. It just means have fun. Get away from the craziness for a while. And just enjoy life. And stop listening to people online. I'm done listening to people online. I'm done with the reviews. Yeah, I'm a YouTuber. But I'm just a Joe Schmo making YouTube videos. I don't make money doing anything I do. I ain't a shill, I ain't any of these things. I just go see movies, I enjoy life. I hope everyone is having a great day, night, whenever you're watching this video. God bless, peace out, and I'll see you in the next video.